Have you received a summons from the IRS? Well, you shouldn't ignore it. I'm Michael Redden, and I'm a tax attorney here in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities, and I help taxpayers who have IRS tax issues or issues with their state taxing authorities. Now, if you haven't filed at least one tax return in the last 6 years, then the IRS might send you a summons. Okay, what this basically is, it's a legal document that says, hey, on this date, at this time, you need to show up in front of this revenue officer and bring all of your pay stubs, all your bank statements, all of your expenses and receipts, basically everything that you would have needed to give your accountant to file a tax return. This normally happens because the IRS didn't get enough information to file a return for you. As you might have seen before in our previous videos, if you haven't filed your tax returns, but the IRS has enough information from your 1099s and W-2s and things, they'll just put together a return and file it for you. But if you've gotten that summons, what's basically going to happen is they're going to have you come sit down in front of a revenue officer, and that revenue officer is going to sit there right in front of you, and they're going to fill out, and they're going to make your tax return, and they're going to determine which of the deductions you should file for. And then the IRS is going to assess a tax on you, and then the collection process begins, and they start coming asking for their money. Could eventually get to those levies and those liens and things like that, right? But don't ignore it, because if you ignore it, the revenue officer will eventually get this in front of a federal judge, and it'll become a court order, and then we can start going down to contempt and those other things, right? And that starts to look like, you know, maybe some criminal things for evasion of tax, or maybe even criminal contempt of court. But essentially, when you get this, you either can get everything together, you can go and sit with the revenue officer, and you can wait through while they do that tax return, or you can go to your tax preparer and get them to prepare the return. You can call the revenue officer up and you can say, hey, look, I'm not going to come see you, but that's because I'm getting the return together. All the IRS wants is the return. And then they're going to assess the tax, the penalties, and begin. And this could be really the first step towards solving your IRS problem, right? You know you've had that problem, you haven't filed returns, you may be meaning to get to it. Well, now you got to do it, right? The IRS is going to force you to. So go get the returns filed, and then when you get the last 6 years filed and you're up to date on your payments, then you can start talking about payment plans, offers and compromise, and really settling up that tax debt. But you really should go talk to your tax preparer, and if you think it's too much, you can go talk to an enrolled agent, or you can go talk to a tax attorney. But you really got to get this taken care of. And if you would like me to help you out with that, you can go to taxhelpmeeting.com. That's taxhelpmeeting.com. And I can help you get straight with the IRS and the state taxing authorities.